The beautiful city of Albergia Place, where time moves gracefully as city wakes up as the morning sun gently rose above set of tops. It cast a golden glow over the entire city of Albergia, a place known not only for its architecture but for its spirit. The sky was painted with of hues of orange and pink, and daily light shimmered on the rooftops like glittering jewels. The streets were quiet at first, except for the soft sound of birds chirping in the city park sense. Distant Trambalabelli trains gliding along their tracks. Slowly, the city began to wake. Bakers opened their shutters, and the aroma of freshly baked bread and sweet pastries filled the air. Locals stepped outside, exchanging gentle greetings with neighbors and opening their windows to let in the breeze. Architecture and old charm, Albergia was a city where history and modernity lived side by side. The old world, with its cobblestone streets and vine-carved buildings, whispered stories of centuries past. Cathedrals too tall, with grand stone facades and stained glass windows that cast a light in 1,000 colors. At the same time, across the river stood modern districts with clean skylines, glass towers, tech hubs, and vibrant shopping centers. The city never forgot its roots. Yet it boldly moved into the future. Tourists strolled through narrow alleys where art galleries, cafes, and bookstores were tucked between flower-filled balconies. Everything looked like it had been carefully painted colorful shutters, ivy-carved walls, and lampposts that lit up in soft golden tones at night. Nature in the heart of the city, what made Albergia especially beautiful was its balance between urban life and nature. The city was surrounded by rolling hills, green forests, and a sparkling lake that reflected the skyline like a mirror. There were dozens of parks, each like a peaceful oasis. Children played near fountains, couples picnicked under cherry blossom trees, and el delicito sunset newspapers and benches shaded by tall oaks. The famous river Lirian flowed through the heart of the city, its waters clear and calm. Along its banks, cafes and restaurants offered outdoor seating where people could sip tea and watch the world go by. Musicians played violins and guitars nearby, filling the air with a gentle melody. In spring, tulips and daffodils bloomed everywhere. In autumn, the trees turned golden and crimson, and leaves danced along the sidewalks. People and culture the people of Albergia were warm and welcoming. They smiled easily, greeted strangers politely, and always had time for a conversation. The culture of the city reflected its diversity. Traditional dances and festivals were celebrated in public squares, while art exhibitions, jazz nights, and theater performances filled the city's calendar. Cafes were not just places to eat, they were spaces to connect. Friends gathered for long conversations, writers sat with their notebooks and painted sketches scenes around them. Street artists drew chalk murals, children fed pigeons near the fountains, and the air was always filled with quiet joy. The city at night, as the sun set, the sky turned deep purple, then navy blue. Lights flickered across the city, creating a stunning contrast of shadow and sparkle. The streets glowed under golden lamps, and the river reflected the moon and stars. The stands buzzed with laughter and music. Couples strolled hand in hand along the bridges, and families enjoyed late night gelato on benches by the water. The city never felt rushed, even in its busiest hours. It moved at a peaceful pace, as if time itself chose to slow down here. A city to remember to visit Albergia was to fall in love with life again. Every corner of it, something new, yet familiar beauty in the buildings, warmth in the people, calming the rhythm of the day. It was a place that made you feel at home, whether you were born there or just arrived. A beautiful city, a visitor once said, is not just one that pleases the aesthete, is a one that speaks to the soul. And Albergia did exactly that. Useful vocabulary phrases, wait por PH rase meaning por explanation, golden glow sinar que, mas andari matare paji, atau sore cobblestone streets halanan verbato ka ascota. Tuastainet glass windows gen de la caca patri warnan warni. Dijereja tuache riblasan tres pon sakura por bunga yaninda di musin semi y vincavet buildings bangunan, yandin digna di tutupitanaman merambato do orseatin tempatu duk di luar ruangan. Seperti cafe royinis perbukitan lembut yan bergelon van gentle melodia lunan musik yan lembut dan menyenan camboset with lauter de penuis warata watime, los don wak tuteras alambat. Penuketenangan things y feelings joy in every day. Beauty harmony between nature and city, the warmth of human connection, peaceful and living deep appreciation for culture and art. Would you like next, a version of this story tending to a spoken monologue for a speech or presentation? A dialogue between two tourists exploring the city? A version about a real beautiful city like Paris, Kyoto, or Florence? Practice questions and vocabulary from this story? Just let me know, I'm happy to expand or adapt it. How do you need? Tanya chat GPT anda vilan, levi banyak chat GPT vilan, tentu. Berikutlan hutan serita yan levi panjandan len cap tentan sewa kota yan sangatinda. Dengan lebih banyak detail tentang suasana harian, kehidupan malam, budaya, makanan, musim, dan keindahan arsitektur. Cerita ini kok untuk latihan deskripsi panjang dalam bahasa Inggris yang alamidan mendalam. The beautiful city of Alberta part 2 a place that lives in memory long after you live 4 seasons of beauty. Alberta was more than just a city, it was an experience that changed with the seasons, each offering its own charm. In spring, the entire city was in bloom. Parks were filled with tulips, magnolias, and cherry blossoms. The air smelled sweet and fresh. People came outside more, walking their dogs, riding bicycles, or enjoying the sunshine with ice cream in hand. In summer, life moved outdoors. Cafes extended onto sidewalks. Musicians performed in every square, and festivals lit up the evenings. Ceribes sparkled under the bright sun, and families gathered near the lake to swim or picnic under the shade of ancient trees. When autumn arrived, Alberta turned into a painting. Lives in shades of amber, crimson, and cape-blanketed sea. Streets, the temperature drops slightly, and the smell of roasted chestnuts filled the air. Locals wore cozy scarves, and the bay cornfield were meant golden. Then came winter, quiet, elegant, and calm. Snow dusted the rooftops, covering the city like a soft white blanket. Christmas lights twinkled in shop windows, and the scent of cinnamon and hot chocolate floated from bakeries. Skaters called the ice rink in the main plaza and left echoes through the crisp air. A city full of flavors, what made Alberta even more special was its culinary richness. The food wasn't just delicious, it told stories. In the old town, restaurants of traditional stews, fresh bread baked in wood ovens, and grilled meats marinated in nuts from the hills. The markets were full of local cheese, honey, olives, and colorful fruits arranged like art. Breakfast might include warm croissants, fig jam, and strong black coffee. Lunches was slow and social, people sat for hours, sharing plates and stories. At night, candlelit dinners near the river included pasta, seafood, fine wine, and often ended with music or dancing. Food was the rush here. It was celebrated. Art, music. And the soul of the city Alberta was known as a city of light and sound because of its thriving art and music scene. Street walls were covered in tasteful murals and poetry quotes. Art studios welcome visitors to watch. Painted setback. Sculptures stood quietly in open courtyards, blending history with imagination. Every weekend, classical music drifted out of the city as the opera house. In the evenings, jazz clubs, folk music cafes, and open mic events created a tapestry of sound across the neighborhoods. Theaters performed both ancient plays and modern dramas. Museums offered not only history but interactive experiences, where children could touch artifacts or paint their own versions of famous works. Movement without rush, despite being a large city. Alberta was known for its tranquil pace. The metro was clean, quiet, and never overcrowded. Buses were reliable, and many people preferred walking or cycling. Thanks to chill-lined boulevards and wide sidewalks, the city planners had respected the original charm of the city. Nothing ever felt overbuilt or artificial. There were no giant